Where my mom's at. Raising kids, cleaning shit.
I think being outside of LA is what saved you and Jamie, because you guys are so normal. And it's definitely when you're in this LA bubble of celebrity weirdness and you're young, and then you partied in New York though.
Hard,
too, yeah.
But it was like my friends were like, I think people's friends in LA probably make them feel really cool about being famous. Where like most of my friends were like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you going to do that when we could? So like, what do you mean you're going? I remember we won a SAG award, and like that's the only, like we won the Emmy and the fucking Golden Globe, but the only one they give you personally as the actor is the SAG award. So I had my own, and it was in my apartment. And my friend was like, "Oh yeah, Rob won the fucking Saggy Nut Award." So so all of my friends would always be like, "Oh yeah, your fucking Saggy Nut Award." Like this, so it was like they weren't like, "Wow, man, like you won a SAG Award. Do you think maybe you want to win another award?" Like they were like, "Oh, this fucking Saggy Nut." You know, that's just how it was. So it never like being famous, or it never fed any part of me. Like I was more like, let's fucking party. Like
so you were a party monster though. And man, hearing your stories on your guys' podcast, I cannot believe you're the same person.
I don't feel like I am. I feel like it was a whole different fucking time. Like, I talk about, this is like the most famous story because it's just like what that I tell, that like what of where I was at. But the last time I partied was my 28th birthday, and I took like 35 Molly. Yeah. So I had gotten to, so what happened was at 22, I stopped drinking and everything because I was doing coke so much that I was like, I can't stop doing coke if I keep drinking. So I stopped drinking for 9 months, and I was like, hey, if I start doing coke again, I'm never drinking again. Like this is it. It's over. And then like right as I started, when I was like 23, I would start, even when I was always like, go for it. So I would take like 3 or 5, like right in the beginning. So cut to, 5 years later, dude. It was my birthday, and I took 5 Molly, and we were chilling at my friend's place. And then like 3 hours later, before we left for a concert, I took another 5, and then I took another 5 and put them in like a ginger ale bottle with tequila. And I was like, I'll sip on this during the concert if I feel like I'm going down at all or whatever. And we walk up to Madison Square Garden, and some guy was like, security guy's like, hey. And I was just one of those drug moments where like everything hit me, and it was like, oh no, like it's all over. Like I thought I was going to get arrested. I thought this guy, who knows, like what hit you in that second. But the guy was like, you can't bring that in. And it was like my ginger ale thing. So I was like, all right. And I just fucking swigged it.
Oh, dude.
I was in Madison Square Garden thanking people for coming. Because it was my birthday, and I was like in the fucking, and the music's going, and people were like next to us, and I was like, thanks for coming to the thing. Like I thought it was like my fucking birthday party at Madison Square Garden. I was on another level. So, and then over the next like 2 days, I took another fucking 20.
Yeah. Thank you guys. That is wild. You know how fucked up you have to be to, that is so crazy.
I was... Oh yeah, it was
playing?
Incredible.
What band was that?
So there was, I wasn't like a house music guy, but there was this one song from this band, Swedish House Mafia, and I was like, yeah, like I love that thing. So my friends were like, oh, for your birthday, like we'll go and take a bunch of fucking Molly.
And you thought like they're playing for you? Like, we hired this band for me.
Yeah, I was on just another planet. Like I was totally. I had sunglasses on and like a scarf because I was so like. Tripping so hard that when we were leaving, I was like, wait, I need sunglasses because I can't. And then I was like, I need a scarf too. And I'm like all wrapped up. I looked like fucking Audrey Hepburn or some shit.
So, but, because like I've done too much acid at once, and like there's a point where it's not enjoyable. Did you ever get to the point when you're on drugs where like you're just I don't like this feeling.
I loved every minute
you like
of it.
it
Always. Yeah. But I would hate like 5
oh, shit, all right.
Like 5 days later I would be like throwing up black stuff for like days for 2 weeks, and like I was looking around. Yeah, and I was looking around, I was like, these people seem like they know how to party. Like New York City is called the city that never sleeps, and I was like, it's just not cutting it, like I was like, this isn't we need to step it up a level. And when I was in Vegas, it was like, oh, at 1 p.m. on a Wednesday, you could be on Molly, like walking through a lobby somewhere, and you're not the crazy guy.
Yeah,
like, you're just
so Vegas is the bottom of the fucking barrel.
Yeah, so
it really is.
I got a key and I moved in.
You got a lease and a key.
Yeah, I moved in.
wild. You moving, you go moving. That is so wild, man. So do you think, I mean, I'm trying to guess, like, I'm trying to put it in perspective, like, you would have been that guy, I think, regardless. It just sounds like the wiring for drug stuff is in you. No? Like, being able to walk, could you walk into a nightclub at like
whatever you're gonna
13?
say? Yeah.
Yeah. And then they're like, hey, it's fucking AJ from Surprise. Oh shit, Brew, you want like an 8-ball? You want this and that? And you're a kid, and they're like, here's drugs, here's alcohol. Yeah.
And then, so it was more like 16, 17. But once I got arrested and I had weed on me and everybody heard that, then they knew, like, that was the green light
party.
to be like, oh, give this dude, like, this dude's not going to rat you out. Like, he fucking, you know, I was on like the cover of the Post and like handcuffs with fucking hand. Oh, it was so bad. At the time, it was fucking brutal. But now you look back and you're like, and then again, like, that was something that I think helped me clean up my fucking act of like, oh, there's part of this fucking enough for me to be like, nope.
Done. Drugs, done.
No, not even close. I was just getting started with that. But just
right,
like,
you're only 16 when you got arrested.
Yeah, but I was just like, oh, I got to start hanging out with adults. Like I need to move this party into the fucking nightclub, because when I got arrested, it was like at the
you
park.
Were in the park, yeah, and your friends there were cops because someone threw a bag of weed, right?
Oh, I did. I wish I threw the pot bag. I left it in my pocket like a fucking idiot. But I just, you know, it's like we would be hanging out at this park all the time, and shit would always go down everywhere. Like, you know, it's like, oh, fucking 2 people got in a fight over here. This had like the fucking cops are over there. This, and they came in and they fucking whatever. It sucks and it was bullshit. But it was, yeah, I realized, like, I was like, oh, I now have to find people who are like 22, 23, have their own apartment.
That's crazy. But by the way, at 16 to hang out with 22-year-olds is bonkers. Like, you should not even fucking be talking to 18-year-olds at like, dude, I remember one time, like the first time I got drunk at a goth club, a 26-year-old guy drove us there in his hearse and bought me 2 bottles of Night Train. I was 14 or 15, and I chugged them in his hearse and then vomited on the dance floor. And then I was like, yo, that guy's 26, hanging out with like 14, 15-year-old girls. Like, it's so it's not kosher. So like, but I guess your celebrity, your fame overshadows people being like, hey, this guy's like 12 years old. I mean, you're 16, but.
Yeah, and also when you grow up in New York City, you do always seem older than you are.
And plus like, you'd grown up working.
Right, and also I was the guy who, like, I would get 4 22-year-olds and be like, hey, you want me to get you into this club? Like, you know, I was like, I was the guy who was like, hey, we're normally like, they'd be sneaking in a 16-year-old. I was like, hey, fucking go.
Like, I can't rein him in. 16, he's out, he's on the streets, he's working. I mean, you were kind of an adult at such a young age.
Well, I was hanging out in the exact same park that she was hanging out with my dad in. So I was like, what is she going to say? Like, it's like, not only was I doing exactly what she did, but I was also doing it better. Much better.
You heard.
No, but yeah. But I had, you know, I work late fucking ever. Like, I was always, but it was, then David Chase had a thing where he'd be like, hey, listen, we're taking the next 9 months off. And I would just, I would fucking crack a Heineken when he said that. And then, like, I would come out of the fucking rubble when he was like, all right, here's the first script of the season. And I would just go insane. Yeah, it was just how much can I party in this time? And it never affected my work. You know, there were like my 21st birthday, I showed late because we were on location, drunk filming somewhere, and I got drunk the night before. But it was like, let's have a little fun.
No intense scenes with Edie Falco.
The next week, like I think it was 6 days or 7 days after that, and I remember being like in the back seat of a car, like in the fucking fetal position, like throwing up, and I was like, I can't eat nothing. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, when's the last time you had a fucking vegetable? And I was like, in like chicken fried rice, they put peas in there, you know, like sometimes, and that, but like otherwise not. And he's like, go, because I hadn't eaten in like 5-6 days. Like I just couldn't keep anything down. I would like eat something and throw it up immediately. It was fucking crazy. And he was like, go to this juice place and drink this green juice, which to me he was like saying, like, go like kiss this guy, you know? Like, I was like,
so not into it.
Yeah, like I was like, oh yeah, like all right, sure, doc. Like, and he was like, trust me, like, if you want to feel better, like, he's like, your body, and he started telling me all this shit. And I'm like, all right. So I went to this fucking juice place. He's like, get something easy with like apple and fucking, you know, whatever. And And I remember drinking that juice. I remember right where I was, and I was like, I feel like I'm high. Like I was like, my body was like, holy shit. French fries and barbecue sauce was like every single day. Woke up, chicken fingers, French fries, barbecue sauce. Like that was just my whole shit. And so that was it. And then like, you know, a week later, my friend's like, you want to try yoga with me? And again, I'm like, oh my God, like, am I really going to do it? I went and did it. And it was just so fucking like eye opening to, because I think a lot of the reason why I was like meditation or yoga or that, and you start doing these things and you're like, oh,
dude.
I'm
dissociating.
yourself.
Getting out of your head. It is a full-time job for me to maintain, like to feel feelings. I have to check in with a therapist. I got to exercise every morning. I got to take my Lexapro. I gotta, it's, you got to.
And then there's times still where you're like, it's just the right thing to say. Just say it right now.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And like, you have to do these certain things where like, I'm fucking terrible at it, but there's just, and then there's other times where I go, hey, I know life would be easier if I could just be this way. And then I'm like, you're not that way. You know? Like, don't fucking give in, you fucking pussy.
Yeah.
Like, don't just say, like, there's times where I'm like, hey, you know, like, I feel like I'm right. But if I just say I'm sorry here.
Yeah.
Like, and then there's certain people, like, if I thought I was right with Jamie Lynn and just, I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Like, I can do it. But then there's just other people where I'm like, no, like, you know, I can't, I refute. There's certain people where I go, and that's why this is, take it full circle back to my wife boot camp. This is going to be something we also have to work on, you know?
Well, because now you're in the danger zone. Okay, you're 30 ag territory and into dating, and you're doing it already. You're out there, man. You're doing it.
I just started. I'm on the apps.
You're gonna have a hot date after this. What are you gonna do on your hot date?
I'm going to meet her at a juice place. I don't drink coffee, so I'm like, hey, let's go.
You freak out.
Yeah, like I could do a line of Coke, like half the size of this table, but if I drink and be fine, by the way.
Yeah.
But if I drink one fucking coffee, it ruins my whole.
Now that is wild, coming from somebody who took 35 Molly in one sitting. Like, what will affect your body? Because if I took 35 Molly, I would be hospitalized out of my mind.
Well, you have to build up the tolerance.
Oh, right. Yeah. You got to work.
I could take you to my charm school.
You got to work.
Yeah.
Where my mom's at? Where my mom's wearing thongs, hitting